All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Saira Mujtaba. The headlines. IMD says very severe cyclonic storm Yas likely to cross North Odisha and West Bengal coasts around noon. Odisha and West Bengal gear up to minimize the impact of the cyclone. Over 10 lakh people evacuated to safety in the two states so far. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deliver keynote address on the occasion of virtual Vaishak global celebrations on Buddha Purnima this morning. Over 3,26,000 patients recover from coronavirus infection in the past 24 hours. National recovery rate stands at 89.26%. More than 21.89 crore vaccine doses provided to states and union territories till now. Number of COVID-19 daily cases slips below 2 lakh mark after nearly 40 days. CISF Director General Subodh Kumar Jaiswal appointed as new CBI Director. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds talks with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in New York on COVID challenge, climate change and several issues. And in sports, India's Shiva Thapa storms into semi-finals of Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai. In cricket, BCCI cancels India's 2020 international series against South Africa in September this year. As the number of COVID cases is on the rise, we appeal to our listeners not to lower their guard, take all precautions, and all those above 45 years who've taken the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine to get vaccinated with the second dose at the scheduled time. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in details. India Meteorological Department IMD has said that the very severe cyclonic storm Yas is likely to cross North Odisha and West Bengal coasts between Paradip and Sagar Islands, close to north of Dhamra and south of Balasore around noon today, with wind speed of 130 to 140 kilometers, gusting to 155 kilometers per hour. IMD has said that Cyclone Yas lay centered at 5:30 hours today over northwest Bay of Bengal, about 40 kilometers east of Dhamra, 90 kilometers southwest of Digha, and 90 kilometers southeast of Balasore. IMD has advised the fishermen not to venture into the sea during the cyclonic storm. Talking to AIR News, IMD DG Mrityunjay Mahapatra said,
"The very severe cyclonic storm, yes, is now located about 40 kilometers away from Dhamra port of Odisha. It is over northwest Bay of Bengal. It is moving with a speed of 15 kilometers per hour. The associated wind speed is about 130 to 140 kilometers per hour, gusting to 150 kilometers per hour. With this wind speed, it will cross Odisha coast to the north of Dhamra and south of Balasore by noon of today. The landfall process will start within 1 or 2 hours. It will continue till early hours of the afternoon. While moving northwestward, it will also have the wind speed of 100 to 110 km per hour over Mayurbhanj and adjoining areas. It has caused heavy to extremely heavy rainfall activity over Odisha, especially North Odisha, during past 24 hours. The light to moderate rainfall with isolated heavy rainfall has also occurred over coastal districts of Gangetic West Bengal. Rainfall activity will increase today and entire North Odisha, South Jharkhand and Gangetic West Bengal will have heavy to very heavy rainfall.
A total of 113 teams of National Disaster Response Force NDRF have been earmarked for West Bengal, Odisha, Jharkhand, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Out of them, 104 teams are deployed on ground, while 9 self-contained teams are on high alert within the states to tackle the situation as Cyclone Yas is approaching the eastern coast of the country. The Odisha government has made arrangements to minimize the impact of the cyclone with several rescue, relief and restoration teams and strategies in place. More than 5 lakh people have already been evacuated to cyclone shelters in the vulnerable districts like Bhadrak, Balasore, Jagatsinghpur, Kendrapada and Mayurbhanj. In addition to about 6,900 safe shelters where the evacuees are being accommodated, many Pakka public buildings in the highly vulnerable areas have also been kept open for people to take shelter if the need arises. More from our correspondent.
With the very severe cyclonic storm centered at about 40 kilometers from Dhamra, which is not very far from the Odisha coast, strong winds and heavy rains continue to lash several parts of North Odisha, more so in districts like Bhadrak, Jagatsinghpur and Baleshwar. As per the state government, all preemptive measures are in place to cushion the cyclonic severity. Meanwhile, the Bizu Patnaik International Airport in capital Bhubaneswar, that has been witnessing intermittent rainfall since the last 24 hours, has been shut from last night till 5 in the morning tomorrow as a precautionary measure. Girish Chandrada, EIR News, Bhubaneswar.
In West Bengal, as per the prediction of the Regional Meteorological Department, the coastal areas of East Mednipur and South 24 Parganas are likely to be the worst affected due to the impact of Cyclone Yas. Kolkata will receive heavy rain with wind speed of 65 to 75 kilometers. Extremely heavy rainfall has been predicted for East and West Mednipur, South 24 Parganas and western districts of the state. Bankura, Purulia, Jhargram and West Bardhaman are also expected to be battered by the impact of the cyclone with heavy to very heavy rainfall. Heavy rains have already started in North and South 24 Parganas. In South 24 Parganas, winds are blowing at speeds of 40 to 50 kilometers per hour since morning. Wind speed is likely to increase up to 100 kilometers per hour. In Sagar and Gosaba areas, river dams have already started overflowing. Already 4 lakh people have been evacuated from the low-lying coastal areas in the district. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is monitoring the overall situation from the control room of the State Secretariat in Nabanna.
India has crossed a major landmark with more than 20 crore cumulative COVID vaccine doses administered so far in the country. These include over 97,94,000 healthcare workers who've taken the first dose and more than 67,28,000 healthcare workers who've taken the second dose. Over 1,51 lakh frontline workers have taken the first dose and more than 83 lakh frontline workers have taken the second dose. The ministry said more than 5,71 lakh people above 60 years have taken the first dose and more than 1,83 lakh citizens have taken the second dose. The Union Health Ministry said that more than 18,77,000 beneficiaries were inoculated with COVID-19 vaccine doses till 7 p.m. yesterday, out of which more than 16,90,000 beneficiaries were vaccinated for first dose and more than 1,86,000 beneficiaries received second dose of the vaccine. The centre has said that more than 1,77 lakh COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and union territories to be administered. The Union Health Ministry said the centre has so far provided more than 21,89 lakh vaccine doses to them. The ministry said 7 lakh vaccine doses are in the pipeline and will be received by the states and union territories within the next 3 days.
The nation continues to march strongly on its path of COVID recovery, with the number of daily cases slipping below the 2 lakh mark after nearly 40 days. In the last 24 hours, 1,96,427 fresh cases of COVID-19 were recorded nationwide. For the 12th consecutive day yesterday, the number of patients discharged has outnumbered the number of new cases. Over 3,26,000 COVID patients successfully recovered from the infection in the past 24 hours. Recovery rate in the country has further improved to stand at 89.26%. The centre has allocated over 43,000 vials of antifungal drug amphotericin B to all states and union territories for the treatment of mucormycosis in a span of just 4 days. Union Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister Sadanand Gowda informed that the government is committed towards ramping up the production of the antifungal drug to meet all requirements. He said additional 19,420 vials of amphotericin B were supplied to the states and union territories looking at the increased demand. The nation has recently witnessed a surge in the number of mucormycosis cases, and therefore the demand for antifungal drug amphotericin has increased considerably.
The central government has stressed on the need to accelerate the pace of vaccination drive in the country. The Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry has urged the states and union territories to make complete use of the available flexibilities on the CoWIN platform to enhance the pace of vaccination. In a review meeting, the Union Health Ministry has informed that many such states, such as Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Tamil Nadu and Madhya Pradesh, are reporting much higher wastage than the national average. More from our correspondent. We shall move on to the next story. If we have that report, we shall bring it to you later. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the Shopian District Administration has been able to achieve 100% target of vaccinating the people aged above 45 years. Here is a report.
The district administration Shopian worked relentlessly and sought the help of Awqaf committees to motivate the people for getting vaccinated against COVID-19 pandemic. Anganwadi workers, block level officers were deployed for house-to-house survey to ascertain the number of people aged above 45 years in each household in an effort to get the residents vaccinated and subsequently achieved 100% vaccination target. While talking to AR News Srinagar, Deputy Commissioner Shopian Sachin Kumar said,
45 से 60 के बीच में जो था वो लगभग 60,000 का टारगेट था, तो हम उससे ज्यादा ये अचीव करनी है। तो कहीं ना कहीं वो जो डेटा था वो इस हिसाब से था कि उन्होंने 23% ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन लिया था, लेकिन हमने हाउस टू हाउस सर्वे कराया, तो उसके अलावा जो और बच्चे रहे थे वो भी हो गए।
Sunil Kohl for AR News from Srinagar.
In Madhya Pradesh, Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan transferred the amount of 112 crore 81 lakh rupees under COVID assistance scheme into the account of 11 lakh 28,000 construction workers of the state. More details from our Bhopal correspondent.
Chief Minister Mr. Chauhan said that all the poor, including construction workers, are being given free ration of 5 kg per member for 5 months. The state government has provided 3 months ration and the central government is giving 2 months ration. Meanwhile, state cabinet under the chairmanship of Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan decided to implement Mukhyamantri COVID-19 Anukampa Niyukti Yojana to provide compassionate appointment to eligible dependents of those who died while serving in government service during COVID-19 pandemic, including daily wage earners, ad hoc contractual, etc. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
Nagaland registered 276 fresh COVID-19 cases yesterday, while 18 more fatalities have taken the COVID death toll in the state to 303. Meanwhile, 161 COVID patients have recovered. Presently, there are 4,806 active cases. Meanwhile, the state has administered a total of 2,65,952 doses of COVID-19 vaccine to the beneficiaries so far.
Tamil Nadu continued to witness a decline in fresh COVID cases yesterday. The total number of fresh cases was more than 34,000. Over 28,000 patients were discharged after treatment. Over 3 lakh patients are under treatment for the pandemic. But the state has recorded the highest number of 468 deaths yesterday. Mucormycosis, or as the people are naming it by its misnomer, the black fungus, is actually a disease caused by a very common group of fungus called Mucormycetes. Talking to AIR News, Director AIMS Delhi, Randeep Guleria said,
नाम ऐसे पड़ गया ब्लैक फंगस, इसलिए सब लोग इसको ब्लैक फंगस कहते हैं। ये समझना जरूरी है कि जिन लोगों को कोविड है उन लोगों को ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि अगर उनको शुगर की बीमारी है तो शुगर अपना पूरा कंट्रोल करके रखें। वैसे भी करना जरूरी है, लेकिन कोविड के पैंडेमिक में अपना शुगर कंट्रोल करना बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि उससे ये फंगस की इन्फेक्शन के चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं। और साथ साथ अगर आप स्टीरॉइड ले रहे हैं तो अपने डॉक्टर से सलाह करके ही लीजिए, हाई डोज पे ना लीजिए, और जितने दिनों के लिए एडवाइस किया गया है, हो सकता है 5 या 10 दिन, उससे ज्यादा ना लें, क्योंकि उससे भी ये फंगस के इन्फेक्शन बढ़ सकते हैं।
He further said that second dose is more effective if taken after 4 weeks.
अगर हम वही डोज सेकंड शॉट जो है वो 4 हफ्ते के बाद की जगह 12 हफ्ते बाद दें, तो वो जो आपकी सेकंड शॉट जो आपने 4 हफ्ते में लिया था, जिसे 55 से 60% एंटीबॉडीज बनी थी, वो एकदम बढ़ के 80 से 85% हो जाती हैं। तो इससे 2 चीजें साबित होती हैं। एक तो ये कि अगर हम थोड़ा वैक्सीन डिले करें तो एक शॉट से आपको अच्छी प्रोटेक्शन मिल जाती है। आपको घबराना नहीं है कि अगर आप दूसरा डोज जो है वो 12 हफ्ते बाद ले रहे हैं तो आपकी इम्यूनिटी कम हो जाएगी। और दूसरी चीज ये कि जब आप 12 हफ्ते बाद दूसरा शॉट लेते हो, जो हम बूस्टर डोज कहते हैं, दूसरा वाला जो हम 12 हफ्ते के लिए कह रहे हैं वो बूस्टर है, तो अगर आप 12 हफ्ते बाद वो शॉट लेते हैं तो उससे आपके शरीर में अच्छी मात्रा में एंटीबॉडीज बनती हैं, जो लंबे टाइम के लिए भी रहती हैं और आपको अच्छी प्रोटेक्शन देती हैं।
In a unique step to discourage people from dumping waste in the holy river Ganga, drone surveillance has been started by the administration in Varanasi. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath launched the service during his visit to Varanasi yesterday. A report.
Varanasi administration has deployed 4 unmanned aerial vehicles or drones to ensure regular monitoring of Ganga Ghats in the temple town. Inaugurating the facility, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that the step has been taken to ensure that no one dumps any sort of wastage in River Ganga anymore. These drones are connected to big TV screens at Kashi Integrated Command and Control Center. They will send live pictures to the center where a team will regularly monitor the river banks. Whenever somebody tries to dump any waste in Ganga, his picture will be captured and the Nagar Nigam team along with the police team on the spot will be alerted. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Subodh Kumar Jaiswal, a 1985 batch IPS officer of Maharashtra cadre, has been appointed as the new CBI director. A high-powered committee led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and comprising Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramanna and Congress Lok Sabha leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary met on Monday to choose the CBI director. Mr. Jaiswal is currently posted as Director General of Central Industrial Security Force, CISF.
You're listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. IMD says very severe cyclonic storm Yas likely to cross North Odisha and West Bengal coast around noon. Odisha and West Bengal gear up to minimize the impact of the cyclone. Over 10 lakh people evacuated to safety in the two states so far. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deliver keynote address on the occasion of virtual Vesak global celebrations on Buddha Purnima this morning. Over 3,26,000 patients recover from coronavirus infection in the past 24 hours. National recovery rate stands at 89.26%. More than 21.89 crore vaccine doses provided to states and union territories till now. Number of COVID-19 daily cases slips below the 2 lakh mark after nearly 40 days. CISF Director General Subodh Kumar Jaiswal appointed as new CBI Director. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds talks with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in New York on COVID challenge, climate change and several issues. And in sports, India's Shiva Thapa storms into semi-finals of Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai. And in cricket, BCCI cancels India's 2020 International Series against South Africa in September this year. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver the keynote address on the occasion of virtual Vaishak global celebrations on Buddha Purnima this morning. The event is being organized by the Culture Ministry in collaboration with the International Buddhist Confederation, IBC. More from our correspondent.
The virtual event will witness participation of all the supreme heads of Buddhist Sanghas from around the world. Over 50 most prominent Buddhist religious leaders from around the world will address the congregation. Culture Minister Prahlad Singh Patel and Minister of State for Minority Affairs Kiren Rijiju will also address the event. Buddha Purnima celebrations are being held through virtual congregation owing to the impact of the COVID-19. Vesak Buddha Purnima is considered the triple blessed day as it celebrates Tathagat Gautam Buddha's birth, enlightenment and Mahaparinirvana. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
In Bihar, Buddha Purnima celebrations at Bodh Gaya are symbolic this year as the World Heritage Site Mahabodhi Mahavihar is closed due to lockdown till June the 1st in the wake of COVID-19. Lord Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya. Mahabodhi Mahavihar chief monk Bhikhu Chalinda said, there will be no gathering on the Mahavihar campus. Only 10 monks visited Mahavihar and offered kheer and chivar, that is robe, at the statue of Lord Buddha in the Sanctum Sanctorum, followed by chanting of Sutra. The monks also offered flowers at the sacred Bodhi tree and held prayers. The puja activities will be available on Facebook for other Buddhist devotees across the world.
The Union Government has said that 13% more wheat has been procured during the current Rabi marketing season in comparison to the corresponding period last year. The Consumer Affairs Ministry said a quantity of over 390 lakh tons of wheat has been procured against the last year's corresponding purchase of 344 lakh tons. The ministry said about 40,81,000 farmers have already been benefited from the ongoing procurement operations with MSP value of over 77,159 crore rupees. The Union Government has released 1,605 crore rupees to 8 northeastern states under the Jal Jeevan Mission to provide tap water supply to rural homes in the current financial year. The Jal Shakti Ministry said this is the first tranche of the 4 to be released in this financial year. There are about 90 lakh rural households in all the northeastern states, with maximum 63.35 lakh in Assam. The ministry said 16.27 lakh households in the region are getting tap water supply in these states in comparison to 3.2 lakh households in August 2019.
Union Railways Minister Piyush Goyal yesterday reviewed the progress of Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla Rail Link project through video conferencing. During the meeting, Mr. Goyal instructed to put in extra effort in the coming months to make up for the loss of time due to second wave of COVID. He was apprised that the budget of the project for the current financial year is 4,200 crore rupees. Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla Rail Link project is a 272-kilometer long railway line from Udhampur to Baramulla, joining the Kashmir Valley with the rest of the country. The Union Cabinet has approved the opening of a new Consulate General of India at Maldives' Addu City this year. The opening of a Consulate General in Addu City will help augment India's diplomatic presence in Maldives and make it commensurate with the existing and aspired level of engagement. The Cabinet has granted ex-post facto approval to the Memoranda of Understanding entered into by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India and the Institute of Company Secretaries of India with various foreign countries and organizations. In another decision, the Cabinet also cleared a proposal of the Union Home Ministry for the creation of a post of Director in Senior Administrative Grade at the National Disaster Response Force Academy in Nagpur.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in New York yesterday and discussed the COVID challenge, underlining the importance of finding urgent and effective global vaccine solutions. Dr. Jaishankar said it is critical to ramp up the vaccine supply chain to ensure greater production and fairer distribution. They also exchanged views on climate action. The External Affairs Minister said greater resources are essential for larger ambitions and financing will determine our seriousness and credibility. Dr. Jaishankar highlighted India's constructive role in the UN Security Council and conveyed the priorities of our presidency in August. He said maritime security and technology for peacekeeping should address the needs of the day. He welcomed the UN Secretary General's appreciation of India's peacekeeping operations, including at Goma in the Democratic Republic of Congo recently. They also deliberated on the regional challenges in India's neighborhood and shared the concerns about ensuring that the gains of the last 2 decades in Afghanistan are adequately protected. Dr. Jaishankar said countering terrorism and radicalization remain priorities for the entire region. They also discussed the recent developments in Myanmar. The External Affairs Minister said India values UN Secretary General's leadership of the UN, especially in these challenging times. Dr. Jaishankar conveyed India's support for his candidature for a second term.
The International Financial Services Centres Authority, IFSCA, has constituted an expert committee on investment funds. The committee, under the chairmanship of Nilesh Shah, Managing Director of Kotak Mahindra Asset Management Company Limited, will recommend the roadmap for the funds industry in the International Financial Service Centres, IFSCs. The committee comprises leaders from the fund management sector. The Sports Ministry has given its approval to open 143 Khelo India centres across 7 states in the country with a total budget estimate of 14 crore 30 lakh rupees. The states include Maharashtra, Mizoram, Goa, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh and Manipur. These Khelo India centres will be entrusted with 1 sports discipline each. The financial assistance will be used for remuneration of the past champion athletes as coaches, support staff, purchase of equipment, sports kits, consumables, participation in competitions and events.
The Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI, has decided to cancel India's T20 International Series against South Africa. The series was scheduled in September as a build-up to the Indian side's T20 World Cup preparations. BCCI sources said the decision to cancel the T20 series has been taken keeping in mind the tight schedule ahead of the ICC T20 World Cup. At the Asian Boxing Championship, seasoned Indian boxer Shiva Thapa secured his 5th successive medal by advancing to the semi-finals after outpunching Kuwait's Nadir Odaha 5-0 in the men's 64 kg in the last 8th stage in Dubai yesterday. The Assam boxers Harper prevailed in a lopsided clash to set up a showdown with defending champion and top seed Bakhudar Usmanov of Tajikistan.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will experience mainly clear sky. The maximum temperature may rise up to 40 degrees from a minimum of 24 degrees. Mumbai is likely to have a partly cloudy sky with maximum temperature rising up to 33 degrees Celsius. The minimum temperature was 25 degrees. Chennai is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will move from 29 to 38 degrees Celsius. In Kolkata, the maximum temperature is expected to be 29 degrees, while the minimum was 26 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have a mainly clear sky. The temperature will rise from a minimum of 21 degrees Celsius to a maximum of nearly 39 degrees. Srinagar will also have a mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 11 and 26 degrees Celsius. Leh will see a mainly clear sky with the temperature moving from 3 to 18 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will rise up to 30 degrees Celsius from a minimum of 11 degrees. Muzaffarabad is expected to have a mainly clear sky. The maximum temperature will be around 35 degrees Celsius. It recorded a minimum of 16 degrees. Dehradun will have a partly cloudy sky. The maximum temperature will be around 37 degrees Celsius, while the minimum was 21 degrees. Chandigarh is likely to have a mainly clear sky. The upper level of temperature will be 42 degrees Celsius, while the minimum was 24 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Over 13 lakh evacuated as Yas races towards Orissa coastline, headlines The Hindu. Massive Yas evacuation to worsen COVID situation, writes The Pioneer. Daily cases below 2 lakh first time in 40 days. Relief for Delhi too is the headline in the Asian Age. Deaths under 4,000, writes The Tribune. The Times of India quotes the National Health Authority Chief Executive as saying that the vax demand-supply gap is now reduced from 11:1 to 6.5:1. GST panel bats for rate cut on oxygen concentrator, rejects demand for tax waiver on vaccine and ventilator, reports the Business Standard. And finally, the Indian Express headline reads, Class 12, Centre leans towards exam at schools. Most states take CBSE multiple choice option. Headlines in the Hindustan Times. Foreign varsities ask students to share results by August or reapply, reports the paper.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. IMD says very severe cyclonic storm Yas likely to cross North Odisha and West Bengal coast around noon. Odisha and West Bengal gear up to minimize the impact of the cyclone. Over 10 lakh people evacuated to safety in the two states so far. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deliver keynote address on the occasion of virtual Baishakh global celebrations on Buddha Purnima this morning. Over 3,26,000 patients recover from coronavirus infection in the past 24 hours. National recovery rate stands at 89.26%. More than 21.89 crore vaccine doses provided to states and union territories till now. Number of COVID-19 daily cases slips below 2 lakh mark after nearly 40 days. CISF Director General Subodh Kumar Jaiswal appointed as new CBI Director. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds talks with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in New York on COVID challenge, climate change and several issues. And in sports, India's Shiva Thapa stormed into semi-finals of Asian Boxing Championships in Dubai. And in cricket, BCCI cancels India's 2020 International Series against South Africa in September this year. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.